But
Absolutely.
it's a whole lot better when you're in a comfy Chevy truck and not a work van that rattles as you drive down the road. So it makes it a whole lot easier.
No doubt. I'm sure that makes a big difference.
Oh yeah. It's funny because I listen to these guys at work and they go, "Oh man, we got to drive 2 hours over here to this substation." I'm like, "What? That's it? Try driving six, and then turn around and come back."
So how's
Of
there?
course, everybody has their priorities too, but one of the things that we talked about not too long ago was how far or how long somebody would drive to go to a Masonic event.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it's all a matter of perspective. You'll go out of your way to do something that's important to you. Uh, so going to, even before I was on the committee, just as a district instructor, I would typically, this was almost every week, would drive an hour and a half to 2 hours one way to go to a forum and learn and get to work in it and whatnot. That was a huge priority to me.
Yeah.
There aren't many things I would do that for though.
That's a good point. I think it kind of makes me think of the. I don't know, because you got some brothers that they'll go to their lodge and they'll go there weekly for like their practice or something like that. They may show up to every stated meeting, but they never go anywhere else in the district.
Yep.
And I think as Masons we have to. It goes back to the whole book time and road time as far as getting your value. We have to kind of push ourselves out of those comfort zones and start visiting other lodges and just go beyond that. And for everybody, I'm sure there's a hard boundary where, like, regardless of how active you are, me for example, 3 hours. That's kind of where I'm at right now. That's like the furthest I'll go at this point. But that's only for like basic stuff. But if there's something really exciting going on, and I'm able to, I'll go further. I'm not saying I won't, but it's a matter of when I first started, I was just like that. I was in my lodge, and I would go to my lodge, and that was it. And it's a matter of getting out of that comfort zone and expanding that, because the more you travel and the more you do, the more value you get out of the fraternity. And you can't go to forums and you can't go to officer leadership training and things like that if you can't leave your lodge. If you're not at a point where you're not willing to travel further than however long it takes to get to your lodge. So we have to expand our brothers' cable tow and get them more comfortable traveling further distances so that they're more inclined to go to these things.
I like to travel. Me and Brother Burris have started doing a little bit of it, going to different lodges, not just in our district, but districts that we don't ever go to. Like we have a district to the west that like nobody ever, we never go to anything. And so we made a trip a couple months back to one of the lodges over there during installation time. But my biggest problem is my work. I don't get off of work till 5:30.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me to then I have to go home and pick up my personal truck because I'm in my work truck. And so by the time I get home, showered, shaved, and everything else, it's pretty close to 6:30. Well, then every lodge over here that we have in our district's, 45 minutes to an hour away. So
Mm-hmm.
the ones I'm not already a part of. And so unless I've got to leave early for work, which I can't leave early all the time for lodge, I just try to make the ones I'm a member of.
Yeah.
So that makes it hard to do that sometimes.
No, I completely understand. I'm having to leave.
I just don't understand.
I'm having to leave
Nobody
straight.
understands you, Dennis, so we're fine.
Dennis, are you going to the TMRC on Wednesday?
Up in Arlington.
Yeah.
I would like to, but I was hoping that you were going to go.
I'm going. I just didn't know if you were
Okay.
going. And I'll record it and
I,
everything.
I I don't know. I wanted to, but the thing is that my schedule had changed, and so I don't know. And then I'm leaving
You
on
mean you might actually
Friday.
have to work?
Yeah, and then I'm leaving on Friday, heading up to uh, an undisclosed location with another Scottish Rite reunion in the middle of the nation.
Well, no pressure if you can't make it. I was just curious. No worries.
Well, if you can't make it there Wednesday, Dennis. Bring me back a candy for scaring a square on Wednesday. How's that sound?
Actually, I'm supposed to do the um, that's actually my meeting night for the my Scottish Rite Club, and we're redoing our bylaws, and I kind of need to be there.
Okay, well, you have the code to the lodge door. You can just drop the pack of candy off whenever you want. So.
Oh, you need some candy?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I'll drop that.
I'm going to pick Brad Hoff up on the way to Arlington Wednesday.
Nice.
So that'll be a fun trip for me. Maybe not so much him, but I know I'll enjoy it.
Riding with Cody Stewart, he's moving up in the world, that's for sure. That's gonna be a pretty fun time.
Cody Stewart has always been number one in my book.
Absolutely. No arguing that.
I'm looking for a specific card.
By the way, Cody, I did figure out there is a way to do what you were talking about that you texted me about. So,
right.
I didn't know that. I didn't know I could do that, but apparently there's a way. So.
Wow. Okay. Good. Good.
Yeah. Dennis, I really enjoyed that video you sent me, by the way.
That was a good one, huh?
Well, at first I thought it was. I'll share it to the inner circle also. But at first I thought it was going to be some conspiracy nonsense or something. I was like, why did he send this to me? And then after he kind of got into it, it was like, oh, this is really good. So
right.
We may have to have.
Well, I thought the same thing, and then I started listening to it, and oh yeah. So that is relevant. It is real, and yes.
I think I'll share that to the inner circle group, and maybe we can discuss it one day, like on a closed Zoom or something. That'd be interesting.
Absolutely.
I would like
the
that.
first tarot card that you see on that's the AE Weight, and then the second one is the Thoth tarot set.
Wait, the first one was what?
The AE Weight.
AE Weight. Okay, I was curious because.
Yeah, that first one is AE Weight because right. Well, it is. It should be on yours. The Rider Weight debt.
Well, I can't remember the specific symbols, like the one that's an upside down U. I can't remember what that's what they said it was, but that's not on the Chariot card.
Oh, you're talking about the
starts with H.
Yeah, hold on.
I'll share that to the inner circle while we're.
I'm gonna find it real quick. Here we go. Talking about that right there.
Hang on. Let me flip back. Yeah, but it was on the other one, on the first one, the AE Weight one also. But yeah, that symbol. But it's very interesting to me.
It's thought to be a canopy.
Yeah.
But it's the golly. I need to look. Hold on.
Sure thing, man. No problem.
I can't remember all those names. Oh, did you see that post that I did? Oh, sorry. Y'all were talking about expanding your travels.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about. I actually don't remember exactly what brought it up, but Cody was talking about how he had recently made a post and talked about how far people are willing to travel, and so I was talking about
that was a few weeks ago.
Yeah, so I was talking about how important it is to.
We were talking about how far Brandon was for me. That's how we just sparked the conversation.
How far? What is for you?
Brandon being in the valley and everything.
Oh, that's not that far. It's only 3 hours.
No. Yep.
It's not that far. I mean, it's only 3 hours.
Not. Especially going down the valley, it's a straight shot down there.
Justin's laughing, yeah. And there's only one checkpoint.
It's only 3 hours. I guess everything's relative.
It's all relative.
I was listening to something. I don't remember what it was, but it was some dude in the UK talking about how he never visits his dad because he lives 45 minutes away. And I was like, it's not really a big deal here in Texas. You're talking about driving 3 hours like it's no big deal, but given where you're at, how far away everything is, I guess that's not really a huge deal for y'all. I posted that video in the inner circle. If anyone wants to check it out, it's not very long, but not suggesting you leave ours by any means, but when you have time, so you know kind of what we're talking about, because I think it'd be interesting to talk about sometime.
Right. Well, there's one. That one is hay.
Hey, okay, I knew it was something
Yeah,
with an H.
but it and what's interesting is that letter, um that letter, that's the Hebrew letter hay, and for house, and
Oh, okay.
it's supposed to be a canopy, and it's shown in the canopy of the chariot card.
I'll just say that, yeah, even on the Rider Waite, yeah, you can still interpret that as the
Yeah,
canopy
you can
showing
still see the
the hay.
canopy. Yeah, the
Um,
blue canopy.
we said this before, that the people that created these degrees had a very intricate knowledge of a whole lot of different esoteric concepts, and there's such thing as coincidence, right? But when something's in the seventh position and it's the seventh letter of the alphabet, and you got seventh card, and just watch the video if you're in the inner circle. Watch the video because it's insightful, and the Royal Arch, particularly in other parts of the world, have a lot has a lot. It it's not, I don't know. It's considered more important than a lot of people really take it for around the United States and things like that. And it's a lot older than some of the other degrees.
Well, we take everything at face value.
Mm-hmm.
We if it's not easily relatable to Christian values, then all it is wordplay
Yeah.
in our Freemasonry, in my opinion. And I'm not saying that to crap on anybody's religion. I'm Christian, but I do think that it limits. People are limited to what they're willing to learn because they're so afraid of what if their religion is right, and they'll burn in hell for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. I
I've done
don't.
stuff in my life. I'm gonna burn in hell, so I'm not even worried about it. And as far as what the Bible says, there is no getting out of it. It's the only way is through forgiveness. So if I can't be forgiven already, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a whole can of worms right there, man.
That's a whole can of worms right there. That's a buttload of worms.
By the way, Dennis, I was going to ask you something, and I was visiting with a friend, and he showed me his tarot deck, and it's called the Visconti. Do you have the Visconti?
I do not.
Bro, these are they're like gold leaf. The artwork is actually
Oh
older
yeah,
than
I've
the Rider
seen
Waite.
those.
Huh?
Oh, they're not the gold Rider Waite.
No, the artwork supposedly precedes the Rider Waite, and it has like gold leaf in the background. They're very pretty. I just didn't know if you had a copy of those.
No, but I think um dang it. Who is it? Up in the Dallas area, goes to Hillcrest. Junior Past Master.
Unsure.
Cody, can you help me out? I'm looking
Grady,
at him.
Grady Smart.
Grady Smart.
Uh huh.
He has that. He has that set.
Visconti.
Yes, he has that set, and it is beautiful.
Yeah.
And I talked shit about it one time because you can't really see the colors, and all the colors have meaning. But in reality, there's so much symbolism. You don't really have to have colors to understand the meaning.
Well, then if you look at like the Hermetic, which is black and white, but it still has a lot of value, right? Because
Yeah, that's the one I just. Yeah, that's the one I.
Yeah. So, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, I suppose.
Right. But anyways.
Yeah. Just noticing Jason.
I tell you what. Jason, what?
Jason's being awful quiet tonight. Makes me wonder if it's a doppelganger.
It's because he's tired.
Or the real deal.
That's yeah. I I was actually kind of run down today. Yeah, from the last couple of days for certain. I didn't do my 16 miles, in case anybody was wondering. Woke up at 3.
I went to work today.
Yeah, woke up at 3 this morning with a splitting headache, and it just eased about 30 minutes ago. So anyway,
Me too.
16. So you run how? Okay, 16 miles. Are we talking about a week or what?
No, I did 16 miles last week. Today I was supposed to do 16 miles.
Today.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm training for a marathon. Which is 26 miles.
Calm down, David Goggins. I didn't know.
Hold on a second.
16 miles a day? Wait a minute.
Wait. Why are you running for 16 miles? Are you out of ammunition?
Exactly.
Is something chasing you?
That's how I feel.
Reload, for crying out loud. Just reload.
I know.
Serpentine.
You no longer have to do this.
I certainly love all you guys. You know, it's just, you guys make me feel so good about all the things I do.
Yeah, you no longer have
So supportive.
to put the cotton swab into the barrel. You can just, throw a bullet in there.
No,
That's
fun.
Well,
That's
all I'm going to say is if you take out all the competition, you win.
No, as a guy, right? I will give my friends crap.
Well, I
for
hope
just about
so. You
everything,
call
right?
you a freak yourself.
However, that said, on a serious note, we do talk about how we are the temple that we talk about in our lessons is allegorical of us physically.
Right.
And so if we do not take care of ourselves physically, then mentally we decline. So
True.
There
Agreed.
So there is value, and I do respect a brother who takes care of
Maybe I
himself.
need to start running.
Maybe.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I am not going to start running.
No,
I
you should
promise
start-
you that.
No,
Start
I
walking
may start
first, Dennis.
walking. Yeah.
Yeah.
well, and after this marathon, I've got a marathon that I'm signed up for in December, and after that one is done, I've told my wife, I said next year it will just be a series of 10Ks, just because it does really take a toll, and I've started to feel it. I did 15 last Sunday, and I was supposed to do 16 today. I got to figure out what I'm going to do this week, and stuff. But it's not exactly the best course of exercise, but a 10K, that's reasonable for someone of
I'm just gonna
my age, and
pay
ability.
$3,000 and shoot some shit in my stomach every week and lose some weight. That's what I'm gonna do.
It reminds me of there was a show that used to be called.
I'm not running.
It was How I Met Your Mother. I don't know if anybody watched it, but there was a character
Yeah.
called Barney
Oh,
Stinson.
yeah.
He's like, he runs a marathon. He's like, how hard can it be? You just run. And so he goes to runs and wins all these medals, and then he gets on the subway to ride home. He tries to get up. He can't move his legs, so he just stuck there as it goes from place to place to place.
I remember that.
Robbed. Yeah.
I actually
That's
have a
funny.
copy of the bro code somewhere from Barney Stinson
Oh,
in my
nice.
house.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
The segue from what Jason said, speaking of running, yesterday, this does not have to do anything with running, but it has to do with steps. Yesterday, we did a double masters down in Port Lavaca, and I was a senior deacon. And Port Lavaca, if you've ever been down there, it's a pretty good sized lodge. And so the guys were all like, you should get like a step count on how many steps you take today since I was going to be senior deacon. And so I just happened to have my Apple Watch on. And when I got done with both degrees, I had already walked 1.5 miles just in the lodge.
Wow.
Good
Yeah.
night. That's awesome.
Yeah. I definitely got my
Yeah.
steps in yesterday, so that's
Yeah,
all
I'm
good.
not doing. Now you just deterred me from doing any more degrees. I actually I put in a lot of steps yesterday too at Scottish Rite. We with our degrees
Yeah,
because
you did.
because our thing is our damn it, because we're not using the theater right now. We're doing all the degrees within 4 different rooms, and I had to run doing the audio video. I had to run to each lodge as each one was being done, and man, that was hard. And it's going upstairs and downstairs the whole time, and it's not just, you know, 10 steps. It's 10 steps one half, 10 steps the other half, and then you're upstairs. And you're running not only that, but what is it? 30 or 40 yards from one end of the building to the other. So
Yeah,
you're
pretty much.
going down the stairs and then 40 yards to the next lodge room and then going to the next lodge. It was, man, I was worn out.
Look, at least you had everything set up and no one messed with your stuff, so you could just get right in there and everything was already set up, right? Isn't that how it happened?
I almost blew a gasket after 1 degree. It was really bad. I actually snapped
Dennis
his face, and
he may have snapped at me one time.
he was nice about it. I was just livid for I had gotten there early Friday and pre-set up everything. Everything was ready to where I just had to walk from one side of the building to the other, plug in my laptop, and we're good. All was good. And I get there and people start messing with the TVs, and it's just threw everything off. I had to readjust screens. I'm trying to, figure out why nothing is working the way it did before.
So it's fun.
Yeah. If
Good Navy guy would have all the laptops in the room, so you didn't have to switch them out and just leave it there. So you should have had however many laptops you needed. Just saying.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I'm gonna just buy some I'm just gonna buy 4 laptops for.
Yeah.
And just
so
leave
Justin
them
would
in
have
the
done
lodge for people to touch and do things with.
Mm-hmm.
They'll do what they did with the TV, but with the laptops.
Exactly. Yeah, this isn't how I want it. I want it this way.
Why did my password change?
Yeah.
So
Degree Master does not mean you get to change anything that the Scottish Rite decides is what the degree you're gonna put on.
Just be here. You clear the old browser history each time
That's for sure. Boy, that first that not just kidding. But yeah, it was we did all the degrees and man, it was a good time. I really enjoy the reunions. Even though it's hard work, I truly enjoy going through each degree and being able to really just focus on the words and focus on what's being said and done and really put some thought into my Freemasonry.
How many people were there?
Well, we had 15 that started, and then we sent one to the emergency room. I'm not sure what happened. I think he got sick that evening and wasn't able to come the second day. But we ended up Well, it wasn't our fault.
Don't tell him what we did.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, we didn't send anybody to the emergency room from our master's degree. So I mean, we got one up on you guys.
So, but we ended up with 14 candidates.
Yeah, but your master's degree isn't the completion. You're only partially there.
Didn't say it was. I'm just saying. I mean, but we had some.
We finished the job.
We had some older brothers there that at any moment they could.
I know exactly
some medical attention.
About. Yes.
Just saying. So, but we did pretty well.
Well, and for for this reunion, this was the first reunion that we attempted to put on as many degrees as we could in all the different lodge rooms, and you know, there was a part of me that was disappointed that we couldn't do it on stage because we have all of those gorgeous backdrops and the props and and stuff like that. But I do have to say, first off, the Ducks, who is basically our stage crew, did a fantastic job of moving a lot of the props around and stuff like that. And I was really surprised. I don't know if you were, Dennis, of how they set up the 29th degree in the beginning. I was not expecting that. They kind of did that on their own and set up that whole scene for us and everything like that. But I do have to say, doing those in the lodge rooms kind of added a little bit more of an immersive experience.
It's more intimate. Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, you don't get to use all the, really great backdrops and all this kind of stuff. But, when you do that, yeah, you're kind of separated. You're back out in the audience, kind of watching a play, whereas opposed to this reunion, yeah, logistically, it was a lot more work and stuff like that. But I think the candidates kind of felt like they were more in the degree as opposed
I got
to
that.
just
Yeah, I got that
degree.
last time too.
Yeah.
At the last one that we did in Maria's parlor, the candidates are involved. They're into it. They're not on their phones. They're not doing anything else. They and I spoke to several people, and I think that going forward, it's time to bring the chairs all the way up to the skirt, all the way to the front of the skirt.
Yeah.
At the even on the stage, so that they're right there in submerged, because technically Maria's parlor is about the same size as our stage. And so it may be 5 feet difference. Yeah. If the only thing that you've got more of is the stuff on the side. And so, putting them right there in front, it would be a much better experience, in my opinion.
Unless we can refill the auditorium with thousands of candidates, and maybe we have to go back.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to do that.
You don't know.
Wait, did you brothers see the post that Jason did it on his regular, but I did it on Texas Freemasons on the signing, the initial signing of the agreement between us and the city for the Philharmonic to
I posted it to Texas Freemasons too.
Oh, did you? I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I did. But no, go ahead, Dennis. It was all you.
No, I said you posted, and then I reposted on Texas Freemasons.
Yeah, I did the both. But yeah, go ahead, Dennis. Yes, it's fantastic news.
You're just not popular enough for me to see it, I guess. I don't know. Maybe.
Wow, that was rude.
That was bad. That was so bad.
That was terrible. What did Jason do to you?
They're like biological brothers.
He has definitely done plenty to me. So
he's the one that jacked with your TVs. That's why they're all jacked up.
So yeah, he secretly, and amazingly enough, he was always in the lodge room before I got there. So you might be onto something. So, anyways, the initial agreement has been signed, and the Philharmonic is coming to San Antonio. I am super stoked. I can't wait to get my season tickets and make sure and show support for this venture, this next phase of the San Antonio Scottish Rite. I think it just goes to show that we should be forward thinking with all of our old buildings. We have so many really cool old temples that we ought to be utilizing properly. It's kind of like, Austin with the Scottish Rite in Austin. They have it's not just a museum. It's they have something like that as well, to where it's rented out all the time, or maybe it is a museum. It's now it's a museum and they rent it from the museum.
Well,
But
if you're not proactive now, then you have to be reactive later, and it will not work in your favor when you have to be reactive.
well, and that's the thing. Thanks to some hard work and some rubbing elbows with the right people in San Antonio, it got done. And I think that it probably wouldn't have been so hard if it was done 10 years ago, like they had tried to do, if some people within our organization had helped it go through. But now some people are no longer as active and don't have the say. And so now it's happened, and that's awesome. I think that our temples should be cultural hubs for our cities.
Of course. I wholeheartedly agree. Wholeheartedly. There's no reason it should be reserved for one night a month, and that's the only use it ever sees. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw they're going to have that, what is it, the Greatest Showman performance there on the 16th of November. Is that correct, Dennis?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Can you hook me up with some tickets? Because my wife wants to go, so just asking.
Nice. I'll see about those, where we can get them from.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to need 4 because Jamie and Chris want to go too, so hook me up.
Very cool. Yeah, you might be a Scottish Rite Mason once you get them there.
We'll see about that. I'm just trying to, happy wife, happy life. You know how that goes? Yeah.
You get one of these cool hats.
Right.
She'll be very happy when you see you get one of these hats.
I have a cool fez. It's black. That's all I know.
I have a black fez. I have a maroon fez.
I gotta go pick.
But you don't participate in the fez off in Shiner. I'm just saying.
I don't need to show it off.
You miss all the festivities.
I see what you did there.
Do what? I wouldn't pay attention. I'm in the other room.
Just being festive, that's all.
Oh my goodness. That just went too far.
Zing!
You took it way too far.
I take most things way too far. If we're being honest.
That's not what she says.
Wow.
I need to plug my headset in because I've now had 15 different Zoom meetings without charging like an idiot.
We got balloons for.
Oh, that's from his birthday. We'll have those for the next 50 years.
I thought maybe you had another birthday or something.
That was her birthday. And we don't get rid of balloons. We should, but we don't.
Why don't you just throw them away?
Yeah. Since I'm the only one home right now, I really ought to.
Just pop them. Say, oh, they all deflated spontaneously.
They deflated. I just threw them away. Sorry, babe.
Our bird got out and clawed them all up. Sorry,
What happened to your rabbit?
We have it.
It's still around?
Yes.
You got birds and rabbits. It's like a zoo in there, man.
Oh my gosh, man! So do y'all know about the
Welcome to Goliad.
I know, right?
To know about what?
Do y'all know about the pigeon?
You broke up.
This thing is beeping in my ear, and I've got it on the charger now. I may have to go to regular.
Do we know about what now? The pigeon?
Hold on.
We do not know about the pigeon.
Okay.
Do you have a pet pigeon now, Dennis?
I do.
So
you
have 2 birds?
Those are usually vermin, right?
Y'all are on my computer now. Can you hear me?
No.
Unfortunately, yes.
I can't hear y'all, so bear with me. Technical difficulty. And I'm the AV guy, right?
Speak louder. Start shouting.
Yeah.
Jason, what did you do to his computer now?
Okay, so
Jason did it again. He's hacking into your computer and messing with your audio stuff.
He
showed
hacked
up
you. He
before
hacked
me.
you while you were talking.
Yes, he showed up before I got here, and here it is.
Let's
So
just mute Dennis altogether.
so a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks ago, there was this pigeon. So at there was this there was this pigeon food that was put out that may have been tainted with poison, and it killed some pigeons, and one of the pigeons was a mom, and the baby was just sitting there looking at it all day. And I noticed that, and it's like, son of a bitch, that baby's going to just sit there and get eaten by cats. So I decided, okay, I'm fixing to go home. I grab the pigeon, I take it home, I tell the girls, okay, just until she can fly, and then we're releasing it into the wild. So the other day, I text Lavinia and I say, okay, this thing is ready to fly. Y'all need to start looking for some place where there's a lot of pigeons, because she really needs to learn how to nest and everything before the winter comes in, blah, blah, blah. Well, about an hour and a half later, Lavinia says, why don't we just get the bird cage out of storage? The pigeon loves Sarah. And it's like, son of a bitch. Why did the bird have to love Sarah? If it had loved Lavinia, that's one thing. I could still kick her ass out. But loving Sarah, I can't let go of the bird. So now I've got a huge ass bird cage the size of a shotgun gun case, a rifle gun case, in my living room next to the condo for my rabbit. Oh, and that was another thing. The pigeon loves the rabbit now. They're friends. She gets on top of the condo all the time, and it's like, well, yeah, because it's the highest thing in the room. Of course she gets up there.
No, it's love. It's all love.
It's all love.
Their
It's
babies
all
are going
love.
to be beautiful.
Dennis, do you need a professional pigeon remover?
I
'Cause
need
may
I
know a
need
guy.
I need professional help is what I need.
Well,
I am
we know that. I mean,
I'm just a
Let's state the
softie.
obvious here.
The thing is that I can let animals be animals and let them die off in the world. So Bambi's mom dies. Okay, Bambi's got to go. That's okay with me. But I can't handle it when it's because of humans that, well, I guess Bambi's mom was from humans also. So that was a bad analogy. So I can't handle it when the animals are orphaned by humans. I'm not okay with that.
So, like Land Before Time, when he's sitting there and like his mom had just died, and he's crying. You don't feel anything. Or The Lion King,
No,
when
I
his
do
dad
not.
gets run over by gazelles, and he's sitting there like, "Daddy, Daddy, wake up! You don't feel anything? You're telling me you have no."
you don't feel
emotions?"
anything, Dennis? I mean, if you didn't cry when Mufasa died in Lion King, your heart is black.
Wow.
But
Just
what's funny though, is I sit there and watch freaking Inside Out with my daughter, with my little girl, and I bawl my eyes out.
Is that the one with the emotions in the brain?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
The first one or second one?
the first one.
The first one made you cry?
Yeah, the second one was okay, but the first one it got me.
I don't guess I ever saw the first one.
It
I mean,
got me because I see my little girl growing up.
I haven't watched the second one. I need to watch that one.
It's okay. It's okay.
We saw the second one as part of our training when I came back to work this year.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Fucking
so-
tax dollars at work, man.
Wow.
Then they're grappling at me like, "Quit throwing popcorn. Quit being loud. Quit laughing."
Quit being a child.
Yeah, pretty
Stop
much.
being a millennial. That's funny. Yeah, that's man, we have not talked Freemasonry except for
I know we haven't, have we?
a little bit of Scottish Rite.
Yeah.
Well, I did actually. I mean, unless you got something time.
Go ahead.
Well, I actually was in Denver all last week.
Yes,
And,
tell us about that. That was
all right.
awesome.
Yeah.
Did you go to
So a couple of things.
Did you go to the Illuminati airport?
I did,
I've
and
been there.
yeah, and I met in the lodge room down in the basement, and kind of help with some of their plans.
Oh, good, 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 good. Order 66
Um,
is ready.
um, so for the first thing, I'm going to caveat this by saying that I did not sit in lodge nor hold Masonic communication with, but I did actually tour the Universal Co-Masonry headquarters, which is there south of Denver. And if you don't know what Universal Co-Masonry is, it's basically Freemasonry for both men and women, but they're deeply, deeply esoteric. So it's a fascinating building to walk through.
Almost occultish.
They are.
Hmm.
And they recognize us. We do not recognize them. So while I would have been invited to a lodge meeting, obviously I could not sit in lodge with them or talk about, I could not talk about anything that we do in our lodge or anything like that. However, it was really fascinating. I will tell you that they have a 32-degree system that kind of incorporates Blue Lodge, Scottish Rite, and York Rite. And their building, though, however, unlike our Scottish Rite building in San Antonio, would not be appropriate for anything else except for degree work. And I can tell you when they have specific lodge rooms, similar to the way the Swedish Rite does, where they have specific lodge rooms for specific degrees. And because they recognized me as a 32nd degree Freemason, I was allowed to go into all of their rooms. Um, and I can tell you, sometime offline, I can tell you, I can go into more detail on what some of the stuff that they have, but I can tell you, it was really, really fascinating. It was really fascinating to see lodge rooms set up for specific degrees, and it was really, really interesting. And some of the stuff, things that they're doing and everything like that. And if you have a chance, go out to the Universal Co-Masonry website and see kind of what they're doing and what they're talking about and stuff like that. It's really, really interesting.
I'm interested to see it, and I don't
Yeah.
believe that. I said occultish, and I brought attention to that, but I'm going to tell you that I think that anything that is against the Catholic Church teachings is considered occultish, and so I'm not going to. I'm not going to, for 1 minute, advocate that it is anything other than Freemasonry. Um, Freemasonry, by definition, is occultish, and whether we like to say it or not in public is up to each individual. But the reality is, I mean, look at this. I mean, does that look like a church to you? It doesn't look like a church to me, and that's okay. It's not meant to be a church, but
And
but
they fully embrace it. I mean,
but there's symbolism involved there that people might not understand, and that's okay. That's what makes it occultish, is that there's symbolism that people won't understand.
Well,
right.
And I love the idea that they have all the degrees. They have individual rooms for each degree. That is magnificent to me.
I just want to
Yeah.
say that I have no ill will towards anyone that's a co-mason or co-masonry in general. I don't
Me
feel
neither.
threatened by it or anything like that. Everyone has their own journey, and however they want to partake in that journey is up to them. That said, the Freemasonry that I partake in is a fraternity, and I do believe that there is value in having a male-only space. And that's not to say that female-only spaces don't have value or mixed spaces don't have value. I'm not saying that. I'm saying as a man, it's good to have a place where you're just associating with other men sometimes.
Right.
Like I said, I have no ill will, or I don't dislike co-masonry. I do dislike the idea that some people think that we have to be that.
Right.
I do dislike the fact that some people feel like since it exists that we have to be that.
I agree.
We don't.
Right. Yeah.
There's value in a
And-
male only space.
Exactly, and yeah, and I, I have no desire to join with them or anything like that. I find that the stuff that they're doing, there's stuff that they are doing that, I think we could probably emulate, in some of their teachings and some of their degree work and stuff like that. I mean, they take it very, very seriously. And anyway, that was really interesting.
Well, I
Well,
don't want to.
I think there's things that we can learn as a Grand Lodge, that we can learn from certain things that are practiced in Prince Hall, and I think there's things that we can learn from some things that are practiced in like co-masonry, and
And in Mexico,
and in Mexico,
and in other grand jurisdictions, there's
Yeah.
things to be learned.
there are.
But I also like the idea that we have our differences. Otherwise, we wouldn't learn anything else
I
different,
agree.
right? We don't have to do the same thing. We can have our differences, and as long as we're willing to learn from each other.
It's not so much doing the same thing as them, but looking at the best practices that they have adopted.
Right.
You talking about the esoteric practices? That sounds very appealing to me, and I know from Prince Hall that they have certain standards that I wish were as high in Grand Lodge of Texas that we practiced in our lodges. I think these are all just examples of best practice. I'm not saying we should be exactly like any of them. You're right, because they all have different things to offer.
Well, I think co-masonry probably has to have all 32 degrees in one under one roof because they won't be accepted anywhere else.
Where else are they going
wouldn't
to get it?
be able
Yeah.
to do Scottish Rite. They wouldn't be able to do York Rite. They can't. They don't fit in anywhere, so they would almost have to do that.
Yeah.
I think that we do have our own co-masonry in Texas. It's called the Order of the Eastern Star, and not to hurt anybody's feelings, but the Eastern Star is just a bastardized version of what our Freemasonry is.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
another
There's
it's
nothing
another
ancient about Eastern Star. It's just something that was made up to.
Well, so my wife's name is Demelza. So when I say Demelza, that's who I'm referring to. So obviously,
and I love her, by the way. Nothing against Demilza
no,
or you for being in there.
no, and she's a past matron, but I can tell you she's probably one of their bigger critics because she has actually taken the time to start looking at the history behind Eastern Star and what Rob Morris was trying to do with Eastern Star. And I will tell you, the way that it evolved is not the way that Rob Morris intended it for it to go.
That's Texas Masonry, though.
Right.
Same
And
same bastardized
yeah, but they've kind of got
happened.
like like Grand Lodge of Texas has gone this way, and then they went like way. I mean, just like
Did it go this way though,
or maybe this way.
or maybe this way?
I don't know.
Maybe this way. Maybe it flatlined at some point. No,
Right.
just kidding. Just kidding.
But she has, and because she doesn't, she just doesn't accept that there's nothing more to the degrees than what is being offered at Eastern Star. She is, I can tell you, very, very jealous of the groups that I'm in because we're trying to delve deeper and to learn why we do these rituals, what the symbols mean. And she's like, there's nothing currently in Eastern Star that does that. They blindly follow it. They're very legalistic. They have, there's certain things that they do, and that's all they stick with. And she's
Very
like, well,
face value.
very face value. And she's like, there's got to be more to this. And so she has really tried to delve. Okay, Rob Morris wrote all these. Why did he write them? Why did he do it this way? Why did he, and trying to find the deeper meanings behind it? And I can tell you, Rob Morris is probably rolling in his grave as to what Eastern Star has become because it is not anything that it was really meant to be women's Freemasonry and to teach a lot of the similar lessons in a Freemason style. And they've kind of taken that and just went off
Well,
into
that's
this
because
other.
they had men controlling what women could do, and that's why I'm not a big fan because I don't
Yeah.
think, and I think that if Demelza wanted to start a women's Freemasonry in Texas, I'd be all for it. I don't think Lavinia would join, but I just because she grew up in the Catholic Church and she's very
Right.
To be clear, you're
right.
not talking about starting a Masonic lodge. You're talking about something that
I
is.
would be okay if she would. If she wanted to create a women's Masonic lodge, I would support her because I do believe that there are women who can do that. And I think that they're intelligent enough to do it. I think all women are intelligent enough to do it.
Mhm.
And some are thoughtful enough to be able to perceive deeper um, lessons, just like some men are. Not all of our Masons are, but some are. And I think that there's a place for it. There's a space for it. I Now, does that need to commingle with what we do? No. I think that they should have theirs where they don't have to fall under the rule of some guy telling them when they can and can't open and this and that. I don't think that a man has to be present for these women, and that's the thing that bugs me about the Eastern Star is that I believe that if if women are going to have this type of Freemasonry, let them have their Freemasonry. I don't need to control it. I don't want to control it. I want them to explore this stuff as well. I would love to contribute to it and help them.
Well, in its current form, I've said this before that Eastern Star is one of the most chauvinistic
Mhm.
It
groups
is.
out there.
Absolutely is.
That's the way it
But
strikes me. I'm not.
but
Oh yes, but if you have to have a male there for them to open, yeah,
okay,
that's.
so unbeknownst to most Eastern Star members, regular members, that requirement was dropped
Mm.
in 2021.
Then they need to kick them all out and just do their own thing.
They should, yeah. But a lot of them still believe that, yeah, up until 2021, yeah, you had to have at least one Master Mason there. But that requirement got dropped several years ago. But anyway, regardless, they still obviously they
It
But you
still
reeks
still
of
have to have
supervision. Like you have to be supervised.
exactly.
yeah.
And it
Well,
also I think that you still have to have a patron in the
for the
in
degrees, yes.
well, yes, and
When they
in the body.
when they confer, yes,
Right.
they have to.
So
Yeah, yeah.
screw
No,
that.
I completely yes. They in its current form, yes, it's one of the more chauvinistic.
See, I could see Demelsa just breaking out and yeah, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah,
Let's start a East and West Star, buddy. We've got both sides.
right.
We got
Um, but
this.
but that was not the end of my Masonic travels in Denver.
Sorry about that.
Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry. Yeah, we went off
I
on a
did I
tangent,
didn't
didn't we?
stay completely clandestine the whole time.
Squirrel.
Yeah, I didn't stay completely clandestine the whole time. Um, so I actually went to a lodge in Denver, South Denver Masonic Lodge, and that was really interesting too. They're I can tell you their opening and closings were there's a lot more ritual that they're doing, and a lot of old things that I had read, particularly in our older Scottish Rite um, Scottish Rite rituals, um, and that they're doing, and yeah, it was kind of because they opened
So
in
you
a
sat in their Blue
Fellowcraft
Lodge or
lodge.
Scottish Rite? Where'd you
No,
sit
it's
in?
Blue Lodge.
Blue
Blue
Lodge.
Lodge.
Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of kind of older things that I had not. Obviously I'd never seen it in Texas, and then just from reading, and of course, I obviously this was the first time I had been to a lodge meeting outside of Texas. So perhaps other jurisdictions do this. Mexico, I could see Mexico is probably doing a lot of these things. You're probably familiar with it, but they opened in a Fellowcraft lodge, and yeah, it was really really interesting. It was uh, the only one thing that kind of was really strange is apparently their Grand Master a few years ago came down with an edict that everybody, no matter what, officers, brothers, all alike, all have to wear plain white.
Nice.
They don't have officer aprons. They don't have, so the only ones that have a different ones are, I think seems like it was elected grand officers, I believe, and like past grand masters have a little different apron that they wear. But
Of course
Well, of
they
course
do.
they still do. Yeah.
but I mean, all of them were they all hated it. They were just like, because I showed up and I've got my nice apron, which is it's a silver threaded, really nice one that Demelza got for me a few years ago. And I put that on, and they were just like, why? We hate our aprons.
Well,
Because they have they have an entire drawer thing, chest of drawers, with all their past master aprons that they gave to all of their past masters, and they're like, they just sit there because they're not allowed to wear them anymore. They're just like, it's like, I don't.
I would like to. Well, come to think of it, it seems like that's like it is in England, except they have their first, second, and third degree aprons.
Yes.
But the third degree is what you wear in the lodge. You just have a collar on when you're
An officer.
an officer.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or you have a collar with a jewel on. Everybody has a collar on, but then the officers have a jewel on. I don't know. I need to look into that a little bit
I heard
more.
something similar. I can't remember the exact details, but someone went to England. They had their white apron, and they're like, "What is that? That's an EA apron. You can't just come in our lodge. You're an EA." And so they have they got something different, but
Right.
as far
Well, they
as
have the columns. Their little dangling ribbons are columns, and then they have the
Rosettes.
the rosettes on them as well
Yeah.
that signify whether it's EA, fellow craft, or master.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like seeing the variety of, as long as they are appropriate. There was only one instance where I saw, and it was a guy who had passed away, and they had displayed his apron, and what he had done is had basically taken just about every pin that he had ever received, and he put it all on the apron.
Did he run out of lapel space or something?
I know, that's what I was gonna say. He's one of those guys that has both lapels going with pins and
Right.
all over their hat. And
I would never butcher my apron like that. I can't imagine.
Yeah, to me, it's kind of like, all right, well, now you've kind of taken it. But for the most part, I actually like seeing the variety of different aprons, because it kind of gives you a sense of,
personality.
And stuff like that.
I think of some of the Grand Master coins I've seen in the past, and I'm glad that we don't decorate our own aprons. Because there's so many guys like that. I'm going to put an old rig on it and a cow.
Come on now. I got a good friend and brother. You got a good friend and brother that has an oil rig on his stuff.
I'm just thinking. But it's like there's so many things that.
But I gave him shit. I did. When I saw it, I said, "Are you kidding me? You did this?" And he said, "Man, that's what makes me money and help me afford my Freemasonry." Yes, I did. I said, "Okay, fair enough. Fair enough."
Like, you got like these historic aprons with all these esoteric symbols on them, and now we have like here's an ear of corn that I grew. It's just like,
but and they were very welcoming, and
that's my 1980s Bronco. That's my. Oh man,
but they did
that'd be funny.
They did give me a chance at the end, because they really wanted to hear like what I thought was kind of different between their ritual and ours, and I mean, I was like, I could have gone on for like half an hour of all the different things, but I kind of hit some of the highlights and stuff like that. But and they did actually.
Did they have their senior and their junior and senior deacons assist with opening lodge?
The carry staffs.
Yes, with their rods.
Yeah,
And
and
the
actually moved around the lodge and opened. Okay.
and during voting, the stewards are involved
The stewards are involved. Yes. Yes.
with the
That's
rods. Yeah,
yes.
like
They
a
are not alone, but we are different in Texas. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I would like to see
Yeah.
that.
I kind of imagine that, like, some of the stuff you've described from Mexico is probably they do some of the same kinds of things and stuff like that. So it was really interesting, and they had an educational program, um, and stuff. So
Education in lodge? No.
yeah,
That's just clandestine.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe I was at a second clandestine lodge. Who knows?
They serve brownies at their meal.
No, you know what they did is they did a group order for Uber Eats.
Hmm.
And so you chose it ahead of time. It was like from PF Chang's. They did a group order, and then that was
Well, nice. From PF Chang's, heck yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I was the only one eating with chopsticks, but everybody else.
I'd rather do that with.
Thank you for me.
I'd rather do that than pizza
So
or ham sandwiches.
it was because I had emailed the secretary a few days before, and I said, hey, we got the trip settled, so I'll be coming to the lodge. And he was like, oh, okay, well here's the link to the group order if you want to add your meal, and then you just pay for it there and stuff like that. I was like, oh, that's
Nice.
It's really not a bad idea if you live in a
Yeah,
place where that's
yeah.
easy enough to do.
Right.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Because then you don't have to worry about the kitty and stuff like that. Like everyone pot their own
Speaking
food.
of, I need to decide on a menu and create an Eventbrite or something for our event so that we can go ahead and have people pre-order their dinners for the Masonic Improvement festive board.
Yeah, I don't know if Eventbrite's the way to go.
Well, we've got to
We're
do
not charging
something.
tickets or anything. I agree. We should maybe just a spreadsheet.
Well, no, we are charging for the meals ahead of time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's the thing, is that we're
Yeah.
not going to have individual tabs the whole time. So we're going to have one big meal.
Then in
And
that case, Eventbrite's the way to go.
I don't want to be on the hook for, $5,000.
No, I agree. They do take a little bit, so we'll have to. Of course, they take their cut, so we'll have to. It'll be a little.
I know,
bit more
so
than
we got to
want.
decide on how we're going to do that.
Yeah, I'll look into some options. I don't think we were very happy with Eventbrite when we used that.
I wasn't very happy, but it's an option.
Yeah, I don't
And
know what the alternatives are, but I'll start looking into that and I'll let you know.
right. I exciting fun fact. Speaking of Eventbrite, the we're going to have our Alameen Shrine Christmas dinner, which Josh, so that you know, all the brothers within our region are invited to the Alameen Shrine Christmas dinner, and it's going to be on December 7th. So,
Well, that's a bad day for me and most of the guys here in Goliad. So
December 7th, not
Yep.
November 7th.
December 7th, yes. Brother Chris Ryland is coming down and do his re-obligation program for
Oh
lunch.
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I've only had it
I'm
planned
talking
since
about for
like
dinner.
March.
I'm talking about for dinner. Is that all you're doing all day?
No, after that we have a grotto meeting, so
Yeah, I won't be there. I'll be at the shrine. Anyways,
anyways,
we got everybody in our region's going to be invited to this thing. But the cool thing is that we're going to offer Eventbrite for the tickets this time, and they've never done that before. So it's pretty exciting. We're taking the shrine into a digital era.
Whoa, whoa,
Oh, sorry.
wait a
By
minute.
the way, if anyone,
Change?
I was on the member portal just a little bit ago, looking at my lodge under the treasure tab, and it has been updated since I last checked it like a week or two ago. It has
No, it's been updated for the past month.
has it been a
Have you
month?
just not? Have you not logged in?
Seems like it was. Well, maybe it has been a month since I logged in. But I was like,
Well,
oh,
there
this
was
is
a point.
nice.
What it was like up to just recently. They had an option to where you could click on a tab to go ahead and update to the newest version of Grandview, and you surpassed that time, so it caught you by surprise. So now it's updated whether you want it to be.
Got you. I don't mind
Yeah,
it.
that was.
I like
I
it.
think that went into effect September 30th.
But
Right.
I did. I was looking for a way to enable online payments because I saw that. I guess they're maybe still working on it. But I like the direction it's going. I think they're doing great things over
Yes.
at Grand Lodge.
They are still working on it. In fact, they were trying to get it out. It's either going to be this month or next month that they're going to get that.
Sweet. That's gonna be good.
But they're working on it diligently.
I love that, man.
Yeah, I want to talk to y'all about something when we get off air. I'll talk to you about some other stuff that's kind of cool.
Cool. Well, let's start wrapping up anyway because
I can't see the time. Oh, because you're fixing to turn into a pumpkin.
Yup.
Do you need popcorn? Do you need me to send you?
Popcorn.
Do you need me to have mommy pop you some popcorn so you can stay up later?
What are you talking about?
You and your popcorn.
Popcorn.
Watching movies at school, goofball.
Oh, okay.
Throwing it.
That pigeon.
Got you.
I think that pigeon's got to his brain. I don't know what he's talking
Yeah,
about.
I don't know.
Y'all all zoned.
He's gonna have an ostrich. or
Nobody
something next
listened
week.
to Justin's story. You went through all that talking about popcorn and I pay attention.
I always
to you.
pitch you to remember because I forgot I even told you about it.
I see you. I see you, Justin.
Sir. That's my thing.
It's not your thing. Your thing is deuces talking about shitting yourself.
Anyway.
My gosh.
All right, let's go into final thoughts.
This went from
we're going
bad
downhill
to
quickly.
worse.
Yeah.
It really did.
Yep.
Good Lord, Dennis. I mean, just tell the man's business all out in front of everybody. Jeez.
Who's got final thoughts they'd like to share?
Well, I'll just share a few things. Just some things coming up for us. Number one, we did have 2 master's degree this past weekend in Port Lavaca. Our junior past master conferred both of them and did flawlessly. It was a great
I
degree.
knew you would.
Yeah, they did great. We had a lot of guys. Marcus and Jay came up from OSO. They helped out with the degree as well. So it was a combined event for everybody. So we did, like I said, the 2 masters were great. Everything worked out. So Port Lavaca was greatly appreciative of us coming up to help them guys. So we got that done. Goliath's got a lot of things going on. We got Scared or Square coming up. Brother Roy Burris is getting his golden trowel in 2 weeks, and he's like a kid in a candy store right now about what's fixing to happen. So he is super excited about that. So, and then we got
I'm
a
very
couple programs coming up. Yes, and today I don't know if I posted today. I don't know if you saw it, Dennis, or not, but we got the sign hung from the city. And
I know.
Roy,
I saved some pictures of that. Yeah, Roy had called me to see if I had a ladder for him to use the other day, and all I had was my 32 foot. So that would have been skill.
it'd probably been better than that rickety thing he got from Tom, so it'd been all right. But yeah, Roy's all super excited about that. We've got
I'm excited
Rhett
about
Moore
that.
coming. Yeah, but you're not going to be there, anyways.
Oh, you're
so
talking
Rhett,
about the golden trowel.
yes.
I'm excited about that
Keep
too.
Keep up. I'm talking here. Rhett Moore's coming down to do the letter here in a couple weeks, and like I said, Ryland's going to do his reobligation program. So we got quite a few things going on in Goliad, so we're super excited about that. And I don't know if anybody saw or not, but we were spotlighted in the Grand Lodge Communication, which was super exciting for us. So,
Nice.
but yeah, got a lot of things going on down here.
Yeah, that's kind of cool that one of my lodges was spotlighted one month and one was spotlighted the next month. That's pretty awesome.
Well, you were spotlighted because y'all were doing a degree, and it clearly said your name in there. So, yeah.
Well, I say one of my lodges though. My lodges were spotlighted.
Very cool.
They're my lodges. They're both my lodges.
Does anyone else have something they'd like to add?
My peoples.
I just wanted to say, if you have not been to one of Brother Whitmore's letter presentations, you need to find a way to go. He actually came to Brady to deliver that while I was in the East, and man, it was powerful. That was super strong. So if you get the opportunity to go see him in Goliad, go, for the love of Mike, go.
I meant to get him on the show to do that. I need to call him.
Didn't he? I believe he did.
Did we get him on the show to do
He
it?
came on and gave a presentation.
I think
pull it up.
I don't think he talked. I don't think he actually gave the letter. He might have.
I believe he did, but we'll find. I'll find out for sure.
You're right. It's an excellent presentation. He gave it. He also gave it during.
The letter Freemasonry on the Battlefield with Brother Whitmore. Yeah, he gave that presentation on our show.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So anybody who can't make it to Goliad, it is good. It is nice in Goliad, it is nice in person, and it's really going to be good in Goliad because it takes you right back to that era.
Mm-hmm.
When you sit in our lodge, it really does.
I'll tell you that the brother that wrote that letter, I can't remember his name. He was from one of my old lodges.
Hillsboro.
He was from Hillsboro. Yeah. And Rhett actually came to our lodge and went through our past master pictures and found his picture and everything. But also traveled with Rhett. So Rhett gave that letter presentation at Hillsboro, which was very impressive. Like it was like you could give you goosebumps. But I also traveled with him to Anchor Lodge in San Antonio. It was me, him, Robert. Robert. What's his last name? I just blanked out. Robert from Waco.
Marshall,
dude, I just blanked out. And Mark Myers. We all traveled down there to Anchor Lodge, where that guy that's mentioned in the letter was from. And same thing. I mean, just goosebumps. I mean, it's. I love that presentation. It's really good. I would encourage anyone who has not heard it. It's great that we have it, but seeing it and hearing it in person and hearing them deliver it in person is a whole other thing. And I definitely recommend it.
We did it when we did when Roy and I did a joint deal at Victoria Lodge.
Victoria.
Yeah, we did the joint thing for past Grandmaster Billings year when we honored all the military Masons and we had, and I still have a bunch of those lapel pins. We gave lapel pins and a certificate to all the military Masons in gratitude for their service and being Masons as well. So it was a really cool event.
Very cool.
And Rick came down and talked and gave the presentation. It was really cool.
Yeah. Roy ordered some of those same pins, Dennis, so we got some of those to pass out as well. So anyone interested in coming, we'll have lunch at noon on the 9th of November, and then we'll do the presentation starting at 1 and go from there on the 9th.
Love it. Does anyone else have something to add?
Wait, Josh, talk again real quick.
Why?
So last time, I was telling you, you see the lodge with the light and how pretty it is. You see that G above his head? That's the original one for our lodge. We took down the old ugly thing and put the old school G back up. and then this is what it looks like when it's dim. Mine. But anyways, it just popped into my head. Sorry, guys, didn't mean to get off topic there.
It's all good.
Squirrel.
Well, I'll say, since it looks like everyone else is, again, as always, thank each and every one of you for coming on. Appreciate that. Appreciate your support. I believe I was thinking about this today, and really, first of all, I'm not looking at gift horse in the mouth, because we are at 15,200 subscribers, which is huge for a Masonic channel. But I was thinking about it today. It's like, man, considering how many Texas Masons are there? Does anyone know off the top of their head?
There's 57,000.
57,000. It's like, man, it should be. I feel like Texas Freemasonry would be more on track if that was a higher number, closer to that. And it sounds really conceited, I guess, but we're talking about best practices that are tried and true in lodges. And if we had more brothers that were listening to these things regularly, we'd be looking better. And I realize that we're a national, we're worldwide, right? So it's not just 15,000 Texas Masons. But I appreciate what y'all do. And it'll never probably be it'll never be every Texas Freemason, because you have some guys that are just never going to get a line anyway. And some people don't agree with what we're saying, which, you do you, I guess. So it really reinforces the importance that each of us, that we be lighthouses in our lodges for what are best practices, what is good for Freemasonry. And I appreciate all you coming on, like I said. However, if we just keep it to ourselves, we're not benefiting anybody but ourselves, if that makes sense. So I encourage all of you to just be advocates for the things we talk about here in Freemasonry, here in Masonic Improvement, as far as our best practices and things like that. And it's fun to have these conversations. I especially enjoyed the one we had Wednesday, where it was just inner circle only. But there's also kind of an implied call to action. I think it's all well and good to fellowship and everything like that, and I thoroughly enjoy talking with each and every one of you. However, we also have to keep in mind that we are united by a common belief that Freemasonry can be more, that it can be improved, and so I just keep that in mind. But again, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I look forward to continue to see the channel grow. Looking forward to continue to see the inner circle grow. But these live streams and Masonic Improvement would not be what it is without Dennis having joined us, and then later without y'all having joined us. So I appreciate all of you.
My turn?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Since you gave the sign.
Yeah, there we go.
So just to reiterate a couple things. So tonight we talked a little bit about Scottish Rite, which was great. We made 14 new 32nd degree Scottish Rite Masons this weekend in San Antonio alone. It was a beautifully orchestrated chaos that came together great. And it always is. We're always very tense and very stressed out. Nobody more so than Chris Williams, because he's the chairman of the education committee. And I think all of us on the committee are kind of antsy and on edge trying to get to that point. And then afterwards, it's like, oh, after we're done. But, it feels like chaos, but it really comes across to the candidates for the most part as being a very well orchestrated event. And I think that's very important. And that's the way we should try our best to make sure all of our lodge experiences are that way, that even though it may feel like chaos to ourselves, as long as it comes across smooth to those receiving the light, then that's what's important. we also talked about women in Freemasonry, and I absolutely love the idea of women having their own lodge. I do. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I like my fraternity. I like my lodge. I like my lodges. I like my Scottish Rite. I like my York Rite. But I think that women are intelligent beings as well, and deserve to be able to have what they can appreciate like I appreciate. I want everyone on this earth to have what I have. And does it mean I want them to have my experience in my lodge? No. Does it mean that I want them to have that opportunity to grow and learn um, the way that they want to? Absolutely. And in fact, I wouldn't be against co-masonry in a different setting if it was a separate body from what I'm doing with men, right? So I wouldn't be against having that co-masonry, especially being as esoterically minded as what they're doing. I mean, that would be amazing to be able to be, even if it's separate from the Scottish Rite, being able to experience those degrees in the way that they're done as intensely as they're done. I mean, that's just cool. Mm-hmm. That's just cool. It takes a lot of thought, and I mean, anybody who's ever participated in a Scottish Rite knows it takes a lot of thought, a lot of coordination, a lot of effort to pull that off. To have rooms dedicated to each degree, I could just imagine the amount of thought and preparation it took into designing and laying out those rooms to make sure that they're ready for each degree properly. That would be cool. That would be cool to be a part of something like that. So I'm not, overly liberal or anything but I am also not overly rigid either. I think that the original altars of God were not, smooth and cut stones. They were rough and rigid for a reason. That's how it was expected to be prepared, and so I don't think that we can say Freemasonry is this way. I just don't think we can.
Yeah.
Anybody who says it is just fooling themselves. So I really love that we were able to touch on that. I'm glad that you brought that to the table, Jason. Now I cannot wait to go up there and experience it for myself, because I do travel. I'm not afraid to travel. I will travel for my Freemasonry and enjoy every bit of it that I can. A lot of people think it's, they have this motto, whoever dies with the most toys wins. Well, I don't agree with that. I think that whoever dies with the most miles wins, because the more miles you put on, and the more, just like you said when I was first logging on tonight, the more book time and mileage time that you have, the more intelligent and the more cultured you will be. Mm-hmm. If you think about an oyster and the pearl comes out not exactly perfectly round, but close to perfectly round, because it takes time and it's just moving around inside that oyster's muscles, right? It just takes time. And I think that we're a lot like that we could all stand to be cultured. So that being said, I also appreciate all of you that join us for these lives. I truly appreciate the inner circle. I can't wait to celebrate you when we go to Grand Lodge and enjoy dinner with the brothers that we choose to have dinner with. We've got to get that put together quickly, so It's coming to deadline time with the contract, so I need to get that signed and sent in with a little bit of change so that we can nail this baby down. So we will be letting you guys know what's happening very soon on that. Otherwise, that's about all I got tonight. I'm kind of toast and was only able to participate instead of really bring anything to the table. After the Scottish Rite reunion, you go through so much intense thinking all weekend, and yeah, you just need time to shut down and evaluate. Because every time I catch on to something new that I didn't know the day before.
Right. Cool. Well,
so friends, brothers, thank you. We love you, and keep it between the points.
Deuces.